For 15 seasons, a woman's womb slept like dry earth. For 15 years, she endured gossip, shame, and loneliness that threatened to bury her spirit. But when her miracle finally came, it shook an entire village and silenced every tongue that mocked her. This is the story of the woman who waited 15 years for one child. In the sun soaked village of Umokoro lived a woman named Onyinye, soft in nature, strong in spirit, and beloved by all who knew her. Yet, beneath that gentle smile was a wound so deep no one could see its end. Year after year, season after season, she watched other women cradle their newborns while her own hands remained empty. Every new moon brought hope, and every passing moon crushed it again. Her prayers rose like smoke, her tears fell like rainfall, yet the heavens remained silent. With each season, the whispers around her grew sharper, slicing into her heart. Some say she was cursed, others claimed the gods had sealed her womb. And though she tried to stand tall, her spirit bent like tired branch in the Hamatan wind. As the seasons passed, even her home began to crumble under the weight of disappointment. What once echoed with laughter slowly filled with long silences and strained glances. Her husband, Uche, once patient and loving, began to retreat from her, burdened by shame he could not carry openly. With each year that passed without a child, he drifted further away. Eventually, his absence became permanent. One morning, he walked away from their home, carrying with him the last pieces of hope Onyinye clung to. The emptiness he left behind was louder than any insult the village had ever spoken. Yet, even in her grief, Onyinye did not curse her fate. She simply wept, prayed, and continued to live, though each day felt heavier than the last. One night, in the quiet of her small hut, Onyinye fell to her knees, exhausted from carrying sorrow for so long. She lifted her face towards the dim glow of her clay lamp and let her tears fall without restraint. She cried until her body trembled, until her breath came in short, broken waves. And in that moment, when she released the last of her strength, something shifted within her spirit. A strange calm settled over her, wrapping itself around her like a warm cloth. She could not explain it, but for the first time in many seasons, she felt seen by something greater than her pain. Little did she know, her miracle had already begun. Days later, while tending to her small farm, far from the curious eyes of the village, Onyinye felt the presence of an old woman behind her. No one knew where the woman came from. Her clothes carried the scents of distant lands. Her eyes held stories of many lifetimes. The woman observed Onyinye with a gentle, knowing gaze. She seemed to understand every sorrow Onyinye had endured without hearing a word. After a moment, she handed her a small seed, ordinary in appearance, yet strangely warm to the touch. Onyinye felt a pull toward the wisdom of this stranger. Without questioning the strangeness of the encounter, she carried the seed home and planted it at the foot of a towering Iroko tree, a place of ancient, significant spirituality. 3 rains fell, 3 gentle showers that soaked the earth and cooled the village. And with the third rain came the beginning of something extraordinary. One morning, Onyinye woke up with a pounding dizziness she had never felt before. Her body felt different, alive in a way it hadn't been for 15 seasons. Her steps grew heavy, her appetite changed, and as the weeks passed, her stomach began to rise like a hill under the warm African sun. The villagers stared with wide, unbelieving eyes. A woman barren for 15 years, now swelling with life. Some whispered in awe, some in fear, others in silent jealousy. But Onyinye ignored their stares. She carried her growing belly with pride, grace, and gratitude. When the midwife finally examined her, her hands trembled with shock. She was carrying a child, strong, healthy, and growing fast. The miracle the village believed impossible had come. Months later, the sky darkened with heavy clouds. Lightning cracked through the air, splitting the night into blinding flashes. Onyinye's cries rose through the storm, echoing into the village as the midwife worked tirelessly to bring forth the long awaited child. Hours felt like days. Pain mingled with hope. The storm raged as if the heavens themselves were pushing life into the world. And then a loud cry pierced the night, strong and triumphant. Onyinye had given birth to a baby boy, a child long delayed but not denied. The midwife wept as she lifted the newborn. Outside the hut, the storm calmed suddenly, as though nature itself bowed in respect to the miracle that had just taken place. Word spread through the village like wildfire. People who once mocked Onyinye now revered her. Her story traveled through the village, carried by traders, wandering travelers, and griots who told tales across distant lands. Onyinye named her son Chikamso, God follows me. But truly, after 15 seasons of waiting, a miracle had followed her like a faithful shadow. Women from other villages sought her wisdom. Childless wives came to her for comfort. Families honored her strength and resilience. And the once lonely woman had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that the darkest season is often a prelude to the brightest sunrise. If this story moved your heart, if it reminded you that miracles come in their own time, then don't leave without supporting this channel. Subscribe for more African stories. Like this video to help it reach someone who needs hope. Share it to inspire a friend or a family member. Stay with us. Your next miracle story begins here.